topic of the presentation is the future of AI. So please everyone join me in welcoming Hyunho Kim.
Hi everyone, I appreciate this opportunity. It's quite a big topic, but I want to talk about like the future of AI. And yeah, like I'm binding to the company, so like I have a chance to talk with the public and the peoples. But like when I go out, go to the other event with my company's name, if there's like a topic I can talk is very limited. So I appreciate this opportunity. It's a private event. So. Uh, Let me introduce myself first. My name is Hyunho Kim. I'm from Korea, but I lived in the many different countries. I just born in Korea, but when I was a child, I had a chance to come to Japan, and that's the reason why I can speak Japanese. And when I was like middle school student, I had a chance to go to Philippines, Manila, and around 15 years ago, I was in the Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and around 2 years ago, I was in LA and also Singapore and so on. And I like to talk with the peoples and network with various peoples from the different culture and different country. I'm very glad to meet you. And here like there's many like multicultural peoples from all over the world. I'm really glad to talk with you. And I will talk about briefly about my career. Like around 10 years ago, I come to university in Japan, and during that time I was a student. So there was like International Energy and Research Center at with the Kyushu University and America, the University of Illinois. It's well known on the energy and the environmental sector. And I did a data analysis. And what I did is like deploying hydrogen station all over the Japan, working with the Toyota and the Keizai Sangyosho, which is Ministry of Economic and Industry. And later, I had a chance to do work as a researcher related to like reinforcement learning at the College of Engineering. And since I need to write a gradient thesis, I need to choose a topic. It's all about AI algorithm comparison and the environmental simulation, like what's going to happen in the environment next several decades. And as a first in my career, I worked as an AI engineer at the Japanese tech company. And later, I had a chance, my friends want to work with me, so I joined his AI startup company, and I worked as a CTO. And but it's a very small company. And around 3 years ago, because of our customer, I went to LA. And during that time, this was the first time that ChatGPT come out. It's around 2.5 years ago. I still remember. And when I see ChatGPT and the quality of LLM, I thought, oh my God, I need to go to a big company, startup company, maybe cannot survive. That's my impression during that time. And I went to Singapore after the LA. And when I went to Singapore, I got a job offer from the Salesforce. So I worked at the Salesforce as a solution consultant, implementing Salesforce's a core product. And until then, until I joined, now I'm working at AMD. But before I joined AMD, what I did is all the software side of the AI. And as you know, NVIDIA GPU, this kind of semiconductor is getting more and more important. Now everybody's affected by the chip inflation, by the memory chip. So I thought that working in AMD would be very interesting, and I had a chance to learn a lot. So with a very unique experience, working on AI related to a software side of the AI and also hardware side of the AI, I'm really glad to have this opportunity to talk with you, and I want to share my insight during my career journey. So today I'm going to cover these three main topics. First one is about AI agent. Lots of SaaS company, they are trying to sell their AI agent, but as you know, it's not working well. And today I want to explain you technical reasons why AI agent is not working as you expected. And second topic is, okay, AI agent maybe doesn't work well, then what is the way that we can use AI for the business purpose? But when you use ChatGPT or Gemini, their the answer, their quality, what they can do is almost magical. But still, we did a huge amount of investment on the AI data center with hundreds billions of dollars. But still, monetization is quite challenging. So I also want to mention about that topic too. And third one is really technical, is really important, but it's almost never covered properly. So like as a third topic, I want to talk about like a PQC ready, quantization, and AI security, which is extremely hard to hear. But maybe like 2 years later, maybe you heard about this topic, then you will remind me. It's about like a first topic, like why AI agent doesn't work. Like the SaaS company is quite challenging. Like Japan, they call it as a SaaS is dead. And also when you see like Wall Street Journal or other newspapers, they're talking about like a SaaS apocalypse. And even though you didn't see like a newspaper, when you do see the stock market, lots of SaaS companies like a stock price is like becoming like a half or even like a 1/3 of the stock price compared to like 1 or 2 years ago. And as a rebuttal, like they trying to put like an AI agent on their product and they trying to sell it and making a business. But if you see how AI agent works in the real business, actually the quality is poor. Like lots of like a SaaS company have their own AI product. Like one of the biggest SaaS companies is Salesforce, the place where I worked at before, and they call like their own AI agent as Agentforce, just a different name. Like SAP, they have their own AI agent, which is Jules, and the other SaaS company have a different name. Like right before I come here, I've seen like Adobe is launching new AI agent with a different name, like using their AI agent like a platform for the various like AI foundation models. And you can search you're interested in company, then they can tell you like their own AI agent. But there's one thing in common, even though the name is different. That thing is the AI agent is not working well. Like when you see like their promotion video, like a marketing and the salesperson say that the work process can be fully automated or almost fully automated, but actually their quality of their work actually is not that high. And because of like a marketing activity, they are pouring money because they need to make a success case. And when they go to like a POC, like proof of concept, and they do the like a test trial with the client, like client don't want to do it because like quality is so poor after the test. Or some client they still willing to use AI agent even though quality is poor for like a trial. But so like the company, they know that like internally, even though they cannot talk to the customer when they are facing customer, but they know that AI agent quality is so poor. And also like a customer's point of view, when they use it, like like the quality is so poor and they need to pay, like they don't want to do that. So this is a phenomenon in the market, and everybody knows if you're interested in like AI industry. But have you ever heard about the reason why this kind of problem happens? Like some people say it's because of hallucination. Yeah, okay, yeah, there is a hallucination, but what's the reason that hallucination? Now, in the end, like people are focusing on like data and data quality. When I see this phenomenon like 1.5 years ago, there's not many people mentioning about the data. Like during that time, they just selling like a rosy dream with the AI agent. Then when you see this data, this is like a very simple example. Like you can see like a blue data and the orange data. You know what? Like when it comes to like AI, in the end, it's all about the like a classification and the linear regression. This is like a fundamental cornerstone of the AI. You need to tell the difference between A and the B. If there's like a pictures between the cat and the dog, you need to tell like a difference, which one is a cat and which one is a dog. But when you see the data, this is like a non-trained data, so it's pretty much messy, so it's hard to use. And if you train AI model like too much, like overfitting problems happens all the time. Like they try to fit into the every single data, so they make the classification like this. The problem is data is not even. General purpose, general use, we need to give up some too much like details. For the general use, like this is like a right fit, the AI model. The problem is still like some parts are missing, and that's the parts we are giving up. And maybe you can say like why don't we include like this like a blue dot, which seems like missing from the like rest of the data. Maybe that blue dot is actually just error. This is one main problem, and second, like this is like if you study like AI algorithm, you always have this topic. What is the meaning of like a training data? Like people say like training data and the inference and those things. Many people say they talking about this, but what is the meaning of like a training AI model? What is the training of AI? Think that as like a blue line as like a real world data. By training the AI model, what we're trying to achieve is trying to make AI model to reach to the like a top. peak. Like that's our purpose. Like probabilistically, we trying to reach like most of the like data, like certain we have a certain goals by the training. That like this is like quite a peak, and here is also a peak, but we call it as a local maximum because it's not the the most of this like data structure. Think that is like a mountain climbing. This is like a local maximum, local peak, and here's our target. So like by training the AI model, we're trying to make the reach more close to the like a global maximum. There's like lots of like unstructured data, and training the AI model. What we're trying to achieve is reaching to the global maximum, the global like a top of the certain goal. Problem is in the end it's like a probabilistically we are calculating most possible, most make sense answer. That's what we're doing with the pooling the data and learning huge amount of. The problem is when you try to use it for the business purpose, each business industry have a specific character. Like car industry have a car industry's common sense. When you're working in tech company sharing something like a common knowledge, like a common custom. And even though it's a one single same company, like even though it's a one tech company, customer service divisions like a common sense is not the same like a sales department, and also marketing team have their own understanding of certain knowledge. Even though like the same department of the same company, like meaning of AI is different. Like let's see through the time scale. Like now we're talking about AI is not the same like 3 years ago. Even though we mentioned about the AI, maybe it's not about the LLM. It's some kinds of different AI. So these kinds of information is not trained in the AI model. So when you're trying to use it for the like automizing workflow, when you're trying to use it for the business purpose, it should be clearly and specific and have a one single right answer. Like as a human being, we have a flexibility. We got the common sense. We study and we have a time to use to the company, and that company's culture and the specific department, and we're living with the timeline. So people could understand and people can correct. But when you're trying to automizing this process, AI didn't learn it, so AI cannot give you the right answer. So answering quality is not good enough. Of course, they give you a certain answer. It's quite good. And if you ask just a general question to the ChatGPT, they give you a quite nice answer these days, right? But when you're trying to automizing your business workflow, that's what AI agent they're trying to do, right? Like they say like fully autonomous workflow, or almost like a automized workflow. That's what they're trying to offer to the customer. But because of like this fundamental nature of the AI, those things are not happening. If there's a one success case, maybe they could be the next Google. But don't you think it's so weird? Like everybody, like software company, global SI, local SI, everybody's are rushing to the AI agent, fully autonomous like a workflow. They're trying to make a business success case. If there's no single success case, and you should think that there's like a fundamental things are missing. And my answer to the question is like unclear data. Real world data is not clean as we expect. And even though data is clean, that there's other fundamental problem based on the nature of the AI algorithm. But still, there's like a very meaningful like a business success case. There's lots of company trying to copy like a Palantir business model, and this is I took the picture from my personal account. And the Palantir used like a various AIs, but still they're making huge business success, as everybody knows. And what could be the secret of Palantir? The knowledge graph put into the the action and also like feedback loop. That's the difference. The other like AI agent or the other company, they just put all the data to the AI and just get the answer. But when it comes to Palantir ontology, they put already like a framework named ontology, and this using AI as assistant. But still, like Palantir, even though they make a huge amount of success case, but still there's like a challenges to the Palantir. Like there's like a 4 deployed engineer and the deployment strategist. They call it as a delta and echo. The problem is when you're trying to use Palantir ontology, you need to connect all the companies like data to the specific framework of the ontology. So those things, some parts we can use AI or making automation, but in the end it should be done by the human engineer manually. It's very expensive. Like normally like a tech companies are spread by nature, but when it comes to Palantir ontology, they need to all connecting by the super expensive engineer, which is a delta. The forward deployed engineer, like qualification is like this. They need to understand the data, they need to understand the AI, they need to do the software engineering, and they need to understand the business qualification, and of course they need to talk with the decision maker. So they need to have a language qualification. It's like a Superman. We call it as a unicorn. So it's a very expensive, and every single business case should be manually implemented, so cost is very high. So let's just briefly look into how Palantir born. They start with the PayPal. There was like financial transaction company. There's a financial fraud, so they need to detect it, the abnormal behavior by probabilistically. So that's the beginning. And the 2001, what happened? Like 9/11, right? So they trying to track the terrorist, behavior with the financial information, the other information. It's abnormal behavior, different kinds of abnormal behavior. So they expanded their business to the security sector. And later they think that it's working, so they got funded by the In-Q-Tel, which is a CIA venture capital. And 2007 they used it for the JP Morgan for financial transaction. That's like as long as I know, is the first huge success business case. But forward deployed engineers are very expensive, and how you justify that cost? Sometimes you need to ignore the cost and the benefit, right? So what kinds of industry can ignore cost benefit? Forget about the ROI as long as it's work is good enough. That's a national security business. So they are first working on a defense industry and the intelligence industry, and that's basically like a Gotham. And they made a twin brothers for the commercial use. That's a foundry. But even though it's such a powerful, having a powerful business model with ontology, but they are not always making a success case. It's a two different airplane company. Airbus case was successful, but Boeing wasn't successful. Finally, I will just briefly talk about it's very technical, it's very complicated. So, but I want to mention about this. It's actually affecting every single one of you. It's truly important. And this is like a PQC ready quantization and also about AI security. Like PQC is about the post-quantum cryptography. And when I try to explain about this, I need to mention about this first. Like, if you buy the PC these days, I think heard about a PC. Now they call it as an AI PC. The other name is Copilot Plus PC. They have an NPU. But what is this for? CPU is a brain of the computer, so it's definitely necessary. And GPU for the AI training and for graphic. Yeah, you heard about it. And what is for the NPU? Actually, if there's an NPU, there's a little bit of benefit, like energy saving and the low latency, but they cannot be the core issues why you need to buy expensive PC. So I had that question when I'm working at AMD. I'm working in the PC sector, so I thought there's a very weird. And one day when I see the presentation material of the AMD, they're talking about a CPU and NPU and GPU. But normally people say CPU, GPU, and NPU, not putting NPU in the center. I thought that's a little bit weird. And one day I just go back to home and I watched a promotion video of the Dell, and they are talking about an NPU, only talking about an NPU for several minutes. I thought that's a very weird. I thought that maybe they don't know about what's going on. And when I had an interview with Microsoft, there was a position related to a Surface. And when you see a job description, they're only talking about an NPU. They need to sell Surface, not the NPU. But why they are only talking about an NPU? I thought that is very unique. And so I thought that it's not a coincidence. AMD is a chip company, and Dell is a PC and server company, and Microsoft is a software company. We are in the same industry, but quite different sector. But different sector company talking one thing in common. Maybe I should question. And when you're using PC connecting with the AI data center, so server and the computer should be connected to the network. So I thought if something happened in the AMD and the Dell and the Microsoft, something should be also happen at the telecommunication chip. And when I checked the Qualcomm, they're talking about an NPU performance last year at the Korea, 100 tops NPU make difference at the Qualcomm. So I thought something weird thing is going on, and who can orchestrate all these different kinds of industry at a single architecture? Architect? I thought it's related to national security, and that's how I found out this topic. There's like a quantum computer. There's a lots of news, and there's also words that the harvest now and decrypt later. With the quantum computer, like a current the cryptography system is breaking down. The old system is a ECC, and the current system, every single message you use, every financial transaction, every conversation you do is encrypted and decrypted later through your devices and whatever you do. So that's like a foundation of our civilization. But with the quantum computer, we call it as a Shor algorithm. They can break the current cryptography. So the ECC or the RSA cryptography can be broken by the Shor algorithm, and the Shor algorithm works very well with the quantum computer. So if you have a most powerful quantum computer, it's powerful enough, then they can decrypt every single cryptography, so they can see what is in your PC. They can think that they can read your diary and everything. And this was orchestrated by like America, the government, federal government. Like NSA is like a head, and their project called it as the CNSA 2.0. It's a Commercial National Security Algorithm 2.0. So NSA is like a head, and the NIST making like a national standard. So American standard is a global standard. So NIST is also working on it. And CISA is they're like the infrastructure agency. So we're protecting like a power utility, water and gas and so on, like core functions of the nation. And of course, like a DoD, War Department, and the Homeland Security, and all those federal agencies are working together for pushing it for the ready. Even like a quantum computer come out, they're trying to secure the data. And this is super important. It's not just for your daily life. Like national security is also rely on it. They call it as a C4ISR. Like there are all different names like NGC2, like next gen command and control, like command mesh or quantum agile. Just different agency or different government body talk with a different terminology, but they're all preparing for the post-quantum graphic era, a post-quantum computer era. And for doing that, like MPU is essential. But how can we use the MPU and how MPU works with the quantization? Like there's like a number like a 3.252420, like this kind of complicated number. We make it very simple, like 3, 4, like 5. That's what we call like quantization. Through this, we use MPU and make it fast and saving the energy and the low latency. And this like MPU is very easy to target. So it's the AI security issues too. It's the MPU. The different name is AI accelerator, and through the attacking the MPU, you can manipulate the AI model, and also you can make it like a blind. This same MPU is used for like a satellite. So you can make the satellite like a blind, or you can disturb all the AI model. And now data is everywhere. Like U.S. national security is not just America actually, like all the world. They heavily rely on the AI because there's lots of like a signal intelligence, and also human, and all those information. There's so many, so it cannot be manually checked one by one. So all those processors are process the AI model, model with a different name. Like CIA use like a turbine, and this AI model rely on to like a satellite, and through the satellite or the various ways that AI model can be manipulated, or sometimes you can just make it blind and you don't know what you are seeing. You thought that you are watching like a target, but actually target is missing by this kinds of manipulation. So I think there is a very serious issues, and these kinds of topic is very new, but these things are what you're gonna see through like newspapers and everywhere from this year to next year's. I want to have like a brief like a Q&A session. This is my LinkedIn, and this is a QR code, and feel free to reach out to me. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Something relating to how do we create business value from AI?
Yeah.
And when you say business value, you're talking about enterprise business value versus a startup, where are you focusing that suggestion on?
what I mentioned about the business value is just generally. I just give you an example with the Palantir, like the company using AI making a money. But the key point is on the ontology and the AI assisted system, not the AI put into the center.
So for a startup, for example, that is not enterprise grade, how can you break that down for someone trying to start a business using AI? What is ontology, or what does it mean in that regard?
Actually, maybe this is not the answer what you want to hear, but I mentioned about the Palantir case with the ontology, right? The building ontology is not easy. First, that's the reason why I show you the like a history of the Palantir. Like they worked it not just they just born in like 1 or 2 days. They took like several decades, right? So it took time. And even though you make the ontology like a Palantir, you need to have been through like the same challenges that Palantir had. You need to hire 4 deployed engineer, and you need to do the same thing again. So it's a very challenging. So that's another thing. Like even though you have it, you are just next to the same Palantir. What's the difference? And I will give you one more example. There's actually like one company truly understand the ontology of the Palantir, and the company name is Microsoft. Take a look into the Microsoft Fabric. Actually, I have the slide too in later, but because of the time limits, I just skip it. But when you look into the Microsoft Fabric, they're trying to do the same thing like the ontology of Palantir, but different approach.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question.
Okay, I will go there. Okay, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,